Going on, guys? It is your boy D and Ed back at you guys with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. Today we got, some minor things for you. Not too long of an episode today. We do have some news. Jordan Shaquille on a 10-day hardship exemption. Caldwell Pope going into COVID protocols. Rui Hachimura and Wes Unseld Jr.'s comments on him in one-on-ones against teammates. Let's get into it, Ed.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, guys? Back with another Locked On Wizards podcast episode. I want to thank you all for making Locked On Wizards your first listen each and every single day. And let's jump into, these little transaction moves and just practice news, and then the Caldwell Pope news with the COVID protocol. Isaiah Todd also dropped 25 points and 7 for 9 from 3 at the G League Showcase for the Capital City Go-Go. Any thoughts on any of that news?
I'm happy to hear that from Isaiah Todd. I mean, he's our second round pick, and Tommy loves Isaiah Todd, and he's a local guy from Baltimore. So him shooting the three balls so well is great for us. It shows that he's developing well. And honestly, I wouldn't mind calling him up. We just called up Jordan Shackle, and if I hope nobody else tests positive for the virus, but honestly, I want to see him play in some meaningful games. I mean, when we have gotten blown out, when we got blown out, I want to say against the Spurs, we got blown out against the Nets. He's come in and hit a couple threes. We got blown against the Jazz. He's come in and hit some threes. He's looked confident as well. Of course, he has to get stronger because, he still has, the body of, a 19, 20-year-old. But I love him developing. I think he's super talented. He's 6'10", 6'11", can shoot the three, can run the floor like a gazelle, solid rebounder. It looks like a good shot blocker too. So he looks like he plays with a lot of heart. So I'm happy to hear that he's playing really well in the go-go. But I wouldn't mind, him coming up and playing a couple games, to be honest with you. The guy Jordan Shackle, I haven't really seen him play much, to be honest. But I don't know if he's going to get much playing time, to be honest. Anyway, but yeah, KCP testing positive for the virus yesterday evening. That's what Wes Unseld Jr. said, reported by Chase Hughes. After the West Coast road trip. That's it's not good news at all. We know that. We know the whole NBA is basically being impacted by the virus. You look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, basically all sports, just the whole country as a whole has been impacted by the virus. So, and Adam Silver came out with a statement today saying that they're not going to stop the season. There's not going to be a bubble or anything like that this year. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, the timing is rough because we know the NBA wants to have all these Christmas Day games. This is where the NBA makes their money. So it's going to be tough. And we'll see. A lot of guys are getting signed to 10-day contracts. A lot of free agents have been signed. This is almost starting to be like replacements or replacement guys or G League guys coming up and playing. So the next couple of days are going to be interesting. We don't know if this game on Thursday is going to be guaranteed against the Knicks. We don't know because the Nets game just got postponed. So, who knows when our next game is going to be. Hopefully we do play on Thursday. And then Rui coming back, play on one-on-one. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that he's playing some physical contact. I know it's still not 5-on-5, which is what we want to see. We want to see Rui play. I can't wait till he plays. But yeah, one-on-one is a step. It's a step. Wes Unseld Jr. said that he's been playing one-on-one and with Wizards teammates, and they were getting after it. Said he had a great day yesterday. So it's positive news. We're getting somewhere with Rui. He's been on the bench. Now he's playing one-on-one. So we'll see. Hopefully he can play some 5-on-5 and get into some games. So because we're 16-15, it's 31 games. And honestly, if you think about it, the season's kind of going by a little fast. It's low-key moving because we're almost at the halfway mark, 41 games out of 82. We're almost at that 41-game mark. And, for Rui not to play 41 games, we don't know what happened, off of the court. But that is a lot of games to miss. That's half of the season. So I'm hoping Rui can get back sooner than later. Oh, yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead, D.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure about the COVID thing with KCP. I hope it's not an outbreak. We've seen COVID ravage multiple NBA teams so far. The Nets, the Bulls, just to name a few. And the Wizards had a COVID outbreak last season that kind of derailed the beginnings of that year. So it's definitely a worrisome thing. I know Kyle Kuzma earlier in the season went on the COVID protocol list, and thankfully it wasn't a outbreak. Now you got to worry about with KCP, especially after the Wizards played the Kings, who had an outbreak. So who knows? Um, Rui Hachimura, like you said, it's a lot of games to miss. That's a lot of games, and that whole situation has been weird this whole season. Who knows what really went on and all of that, because typically when you hear about a guy being out 40 something games, you naturally think that it's an injury or something like that. But we know it was mental health, and he came back to the team, and now it's just about conditioning. I'm not sure. I don't know if it really is an injury, because if it was just a mental health thing and he came back to rejoin the team, what's taking so long to do 5-on-5s if it's nothing, physically wrong with his body? You know what I mean? Like, as far as no injury. So I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate too much about a subject I really don't know about. So, I mean, I just would like to see Rui on the court, man. I really would like to see Rui on the court. We've all been hoping to see it this season. At this point, he may come back around the same time Thomas Bryant comes back at this
Yeah, I
point.
was thinking
He's
that
coming
too.
off the ACL. So we may get those guys back around the same time or very close to each other. So, I mean, and Isaiah Todd, I wouldn't mind him being brought up. If he was the guy who got brought up, he looked nice. I seen the highlights of that G League showcase game. He looked good, man. 7 for 9 from three. Wizards need shooting badly, but I
Yeah, that's
know
true.
Shaquille. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his last name, but I know he's shooting, I think, above 40% from the three as well. So he's shooting the ball well too.
Yeah, Todd 7 for 9. That's incredible. He's an athlete too. I saw him with a couple alley oop dunks too. He could bring some firepower. I saw some people tweet about he's probably going to be shooting better than Bertans, which probably is true, to be honest. But Isaiah Todd, he could definitely have. We're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. We don't shoot a lot of threes either. We're like bottom 5 in 3-pointers attempted. So any 3-point shooting we can get, I'll take it. But I'm happy to hear that Isaiah Todd is playing well. But before we do get into our next segment, talking about starting lineups, should Wes Unseld Jr. make a change? Because against the Jazz, he had to make a change at the end. The last 9 minutes of the game, Spencer Dinwiddie did not finish the fourth quarter, and some guys that just have been playing better basketball in the last 10 games. After the 10-3 start, there's been some guys that have stepped up and played better. And some guys stepped up and played well in that Jazz game that we feel like need some more playing time. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do get into that, this episode is brought to you by Calm. Do you want to know what makes LeBron James sleep? That's right. Sleep is his superpower. Calm, the #1 app for sleep and meditation, has teamed up with LeBron James to help you activate the power of sleep. LeBron and Calm know that your mind is like any other muscle in your body, but you don't have to be a world champion to learn how to train it. Calm can help you train your brain so you sleep better, reduce your stress, and perform at your best, just like LeBron James. For LeBron, sleep is a critical part of his mental fitness routine. As he says, quote, "Getting good sleep and finding time to rest is one of the most valuable things I can do for my body and mind. From the sound of rain falling on leaves to bedtime, Sleep Stories Calm puts me to sleep within minutes, which means I wake up ready for any challenge." Unquote. So if you head to calm.com/LockedOnNBA for a limited range, you'll get 40% off a Calm premium subscription. With Calm, you have access to nature scenes LeBron loves, like rain on leaves, and so much more, like sleep stories and meditation, so you can be ready for any challenges that life throws your way. Again, for a limited time, our listeners can join LeBron in using Calm and get a 40% discount on a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/LockedOnNBA. Unlock content to help you focus, ease stress, and sleep better. Get started at calm.com/LockedOnNBA. That's calm.com/LockedOnNBA. Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. All right, so D, how are you feeling about lineup changes? You feel like Wes Unseld Jr. should make a change to the starting lineup?
I mean, it's tough because I feel like the Wizards would rather sit Dinwiddie down, like hold him out and let him heal, rather than put him on the bench, because that's not almost, that's pretty much admitting that your signing was a failure. If you put this guy that you spent all this money on in the off season and he's your prize free agent pickup and you're putting him on the bench 30 something plus games into the season and he's benched. That's saying I messed up. And I don't think the Wizards want to do that. I think they would rather be like, let's sit out a few games for the knee. Let's say it's the knee. The best lineup, Avdia, Bill, KCP, Gafford, Neto. Quinn Mayo tweeted this. He said that lineup has a plus 41.4 in points. That's a team best. So the best lineup don't got Dinwiddie in it. And if you're going off that, it looks like Howard Neto needs to be the starter right now. But like I said, and that's kind of the only move I would make is at that one spot because I like Denny's fit off the bench more. And you can play Denny 30 minutes like against the Jazz off the bench anyway. He can still close out games without having to start because I feel like he's more comfortable off of the bench. So only thing I could possibly say is Howard Neto in for Dinwiddie.
Yeah, I would actually make two changes. Actually, you know what? Yeah, you're kind of right with Denny coming off the bench for Kuz. And I like Kuz. I'm a Kuz fan. I love the way he plays hard. I love the energy. He's just so inconsistent. You kind of see the inconsistencies that he had with the Lakers. He'll have a game like Detroit, and he did test positive for the virus. So I know not playing 3 games in a row, it does hurt. The last couple of games, hasn't really shot the ball well. He was like 0 for 6 against the Jazz. Just didn't shoot the ball well from the 3 at all. But honestly, if Denny keeps it up, then I would consider putting Denny in that starting lineup, to be honest with you. But yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie, he needs to either have a seat on the bench or come off the bench. And I think we all know he plays better without Bradley Beal. When either one doesn't play, they play better without each other. That's just how it's been the past couple games. So I do feel like Spencer Dinwiddie should come off the bench, and Neto just provides more energy. The reason why we do come off to these slow starts while we're down by 10, we were down by 10 against the Jazz at one point to start off the game, is because of Spencer Dinwiddie. Like I keep saying, I don't want to just blame everything on Spencer, but the point guard is the head of the snake. The point guard is the quarterback of the team. They push the pace. We have one of the slowest pace. We're one of the slowest paced teams in the NBA right now. Fast break points, we're bottom 10, bottom 5 fast break points. We just don't push the ball. And with Neto in there and Holiday in there, we get easy baskets. We're pushing the ball. We're not always in a half-court set where teams get back and they have to set up and we have to manufacture buckets. We have to use basically the majority of the shot clock and manufacture buckets in the offense. It makes it tougher on the offense because we're not running when we have guys like Gafford that can run. Trez is looking to run. Kuzma has been looking to run a couple times, and he's looking around and nobody else is running with him. So, and I think it will help Denny too because he likes to push the ball. He likes to be in that point forward. But yeah, if he came out there and started, honestly, but it's more about who finishes the game rather than who starts. You can look at it that way because as long as Denny's finishing the game and Neto's finishing the game and Brad and Gaff or Trez or Kuz or KCP, whoever's finishing the game, I think that mix of 8 to 9 guys, those guys should be finishing the game right now. And when Spencer does get his legs under him and gets healthy and plays like he did in that first 10-3 start where he was knocking down shots, had 30 points against the Magic or 20 against the Magic and played really well against the Celtics and Pacers, then yeah, he could be that guy. He could be that closer because like you said yesterday, he was the closer at one time. He really was, but it just hasn't looked that way. So that's how I feel about the starting lineup.
Yeah. Once again, on the Spencer thing, and like you said, I don't want to act like I don't want to blame everything on Spencer because it's not strictly him. Bradley Beal was struggling. It seems he's picking it back up, which is good. But I feel like I fairly criticized Bradley Beal. I even said I understand the people who were wanting to trade him. I said I understand why they feel like that, and they have a legitimate reason to feel like that. I feel like I've been fair with my criticism for everybody on the team. I haven't been, less critical of certain people than others. And just like Davis Bertans, if you're struggling, I'm going to call you out. And Spencer Dinwiddie putting up 0 points in the game, getting paid however much, is unacceptable. And I'm going to call you out. And Bradley Beal played his best game of the season. That was Supermax Brad right there. So I have no issues about that. I feel like the team in general played a very good game. But you look at the stat sheet and Spencer sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm sorry. So that's the only move I'm looking at, man. That one spot, like you said, with Kuzma, in regards to Kuzma, definitely the inconsistency. If you look at the numbers, they're pretty ugly. But I mean, I think when Rui comes back, eventually
Right.
he'll slide into that 4 spot. So I think Kuzma will eventually go to the bench, and that keeps Denny on the bench as well. Because I've seen Denny as in the start lineup, and I've seen him on the bench. I feel like he just seems a little more comfortable on that bench, coming off that bench. And just because you're coming off the bench does not mean you cannot finish a game. It does not mean you can't play 30 minutes. So how Neto at the 1? That's how it's looking like for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Spencer, he could get the Dinwiddie. I mean, he could get the Kemba Walker treatment where he's just out of the whole rotation. I don't think it needs to be to that, but yeah, he needs to either have a seat. And then defensively, I think that's our best lineup too. Daniel Gafford is our best defensive big. Montrez, he struggles in pick and roll defense, and he's undersized. He's 6'7", but has the wingspan, but he struggles on the pick and roll defense. And Daniel Gafford, he's our rim protector. Bradley Beal has been better defensively this year. Neto has been better defensively. Dinwiddie hasn't really been able to stay in front of anybody. This ever since he tailed off in the month of December has just been rough for Dinwiddie. It really has been. Kuzma's been a solid defender, but Denny's been our best defender on the roster. Him guarding Giannis, him guarding Brandon Ingram, him guarding Donovan Mitchell the other day, holding him, defending him well in the fourth quarter. So the clamps and all that. So Denny's been a great defender. So Denny definitely deserves to at least finish if not start. He needs to finish the game for sure. But yeah, we want to get to a surprise in the Eastern Conference rankings, in the power rankings. You would think the Wizards, since they played so badly in the last couple of days, this 4-game losing streak, you would think that the Wizards are a little bit lower than what they are in the power rankings, and just how we see the Wizards stacking up in the Eastern Conference so far. It's kind of like a cluster right now, so we're going to go over that before we head out, and then tomorrow we'll talk about we'll preview the next game that is on Thursday. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. As football continues its march through the College Bowl season and the Pro Football playoffs, BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to the website or use a mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON and receive your bonus from basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available. BetOnline is where the game starts. This episode is also brought to you by Built Bar. So many flavors. My favorite flavor is cookies and cream. I always put it in the microwave or I put it in the fridge. It gives us the best flavor when I usually do that. So many flavors you'll have a hard time choosing. Will you have raspberry or mint brownie, cherry or double chocolate, cookies and cream or peanut butter brownie? Built Bar gives you that extra fuel you'll need to bust down those mall doors and battle all the holiday shoppers. Or if you're just standing in endless shopping lines, Built Bar can give you that extra something to keep you going. So throw one in your jacket or purse. You never know when you're going to need it. Because it's the season of peace and love, don't bring up your favorite Built Bar flavor at family parties. People are so passionate about their favorite flavor, they'll fight for it and things could get out of hand. You're friends with Santa? Well, tell Santa to throw a few Built Bars in those stockings with so many flavors they make anyone's Christmas morning a happy one. Like some of those marshmallow treats around the holidays, you need to get your hands on Built Bar Puffs. They're light, fluffy, and marshmallowy through and through. Different flavors, all covered in chocolate. Taste so good, you won't believe that they're filled with protein. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order at Built.com. All right, D. So let's go over these power rankings real quick. I looked it up on ESPN, and I was actually surprised. Where did you think the Wizards were ranked in the power rankings?
I thought they would have dropped off, in that 20s range because I feel like everybody was wondering if that early run the Wizards were on was sustainable.
Right.
And, people were a little iffy about it. And seems like they got proved right as the Wizards just hit a slump. I thought they would be around 22, 23, personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was actually thinking in the 25s, just how bad they played. But I know they started out hot, but they look so bad because we were losing games by 20, 25 to the Jazz and the Cavs, and we lost to the Kings by 16, gave a 42-16 run. That was just terrible. And then you look at the press conferences too, how guys responded. about the offense, Spencer Dinwiddie, Montrezl Harrell, what he was saying. So I really thought they were going to have us drop off a little bit. But ESPN Power Rankings, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it is interesting. Just look at a measuring stick. They have us ranked 14th out of the 30 teams in the NBA. Our previous ranking was 11th. We have a 16-15 record. They said Washington's hot 10-3 start has fizzled. The Wizards had lost 7 of 8 games until coming up with one of their biggest wins of the season at Utah. Bradley Beal, however, might be heating up. He has averaged 31 points in his past 3 games, including scoring a season-high 37 in the win versus the Jazz. Washington got Kyle Kuzma back out of health and safety protocols last week, but Spencer Dinwiddie is in a slump, averaging just 6 points per game, 26% shooting, and only 14% from the three-point line from the month of December, which we've brought it a couple times, those terrible percentage numbers. But yeah, we're ranked 14th. Boston's ranked 15th. The Hornets are ranked 16th. The Dallas Mavericks are 17th. The Hawks are 18th, who were really good last year. The Timberwolves are 19th. The Raptors are 20th. The Blazers are 21st. The Knicks are right now, they are 22nd. And the teams that are above us are the Nuggets at 11. The Philly Sixers are at 12. The Lakers are at 13. They're 16 and 15 right now. So we're in the same boat. The Grizzlies are at 9. While they're 19 and 12. They won a lot of games without Ja Morant. The Miami Heat are 8th, 18 and 13. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 7th at 19 and 12. The Chicago Bulls are 6th at 18 and 10. The Milwaukee Bucks are 5th at 19 and 13. Of course, the Nets are at 3rd, and number 1 is the Phoenix Suns. So was there anybody that you feel like should be ahead of the Wizards, or that the Wizards should be ahead of, or how did you feel about that ranking?
Well, I don't want to say the Wizards should be ahead of anyone. The way they were
Right,
playing,
yeah.
they looked like one of the worst teams in the NBA. And one of the biggest things was, outside of that Detroit Pistons game before the Jazz game, they weren't competitive in any game. Like, those games were not competitive at all, and there were blowouts. And that's why I felt like there's not a team that I can confidently say, oh, the Wizards are going to beat those guys. So I can't personally say they should be ahead of anybody the way they were playing before Utah. So, I mean, Knicks have been playing bad, so I get it why they're ahead of the Knicks. Same with the Hawks. Hawks have been pretty inconsistent. I mean, I kind of really don't have a as you said, the teams. I kind of get it. The teams that are behind them have been inconsistent, struggling teams as well. So, I kind of get it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's crazy how the rest of the Eastern Conference is struggling too. We're looking at the Wizards and we're kind of panicking after these bad games, and we still got similar records. There's a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference, so we still got our work cut out for us. But yeah, this next stretch is going to be huge. We get the Knicks, and we still got some tough games. We got to play the Cavs again pretty soon, so it's going to be pretty tough for the Washington Wizards coming up. But in the next episode, I do kind of want to get to some of the offensive woes and the article from Josh Robbins from The Athletic. Just talk about that a little bit, and then we'll preview the game against the Knicks, and then also talk about there's some leftover mailbag questions, so we'll probably get to that in the next episode and talk about that. And we'll just sign off for today. Nothing really happening too much today, just some COVID protocol stuff. But like I said, we'll touch on some of the offensive woes and what we're going to see the Wizards do better in the next episode. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards on YouTube and hit the notification bell as well. And also, now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe on all platforms. And like I said, make sure you guys hit the notification bell on YouTube. And hail to the Wizards. Peace.
Peace.